Picture this, you've locked an old treasure chest with a super strong padlock. You feel like it's safe, right? But now imagine someone invents a tool that can pick that lock in seconds. That is what quantum computers might do to many of the locks that protect our crypto. This is a big problem, but don't freak out. It's not too late. There's already work going on to quantum resistant crypto, locks that, super powerful future computers can't pick. Now, if you want to understand how this works, stick with me. I'm Brett at CryptoGX, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you about quantum resistant crypto. We'll talk about what it is, why it's becoming super important, and how you can really stay ahead of the curve and keep your crypto safe. I'll explain everything in very simple language, I promise. Let's jump in. First up, what is a quantum computer? What is it actually? Regular computers, your laptop or your phone, store info in something called bits. Now, a bit is like a light switch. It's either off or on, 0 or 1. A quantum computer uses qubits. A qubit can be 0, it can be 1, and it can be both at the same time until you check it. Sort of like a spinning coin until it lands. You don't really know if it's heads or tails. Now, I did a little bit of a deeper explanation video on the channel as well on quantum computing and its effect in crypto, so make sure to check out the channel for that. But back to these qubits. Because of the both at once feature, quantum computers can try many possibilities at once. This basically makes them super fast at certain tasks. The main one being solving really hard puzzles, including some of the puzzles which are mathematical problems that are used to protect crypto. Now, Cisco came out with this particular infographic here that is really useful about getting started in the post-quantum crypto journey. Now, they first talked about the release of a standard in 2024. They talked about a migration between 2024 to 2030, and then the emergence of, the actual computers that are significant in this area between 2030 and 2035. So the idea is to get ahead of it. Now, get ahead of what exactly? Why is crypto at risk? Well, the main thing here is that cryptocurrencies use cryptography. These are sets of rules in math that act like a super strong padlock for your digital assets. A common system is a public key and a private key. The public key is like the lock that anyone can use to lock something, and the private key is like the secret key that only you have to unlock it. If someone gets your private key, they can open the lock and take your stuff. And to give you a little bit more background, the public key is like your wallet address, and then the private key, you obviously know when you sign up on whatever platform, it says store this private key, don't show it anywhere, keep it offline, and basically don't lose it because there's no way to get into your account if you don't have this private key. There's no forgot password. Now, the problem is that many existing public key systems rely on math problems that are very hard for today's computers, but they might be doable on quantum computers. If quantum machines get really good, then they could crack these locks. Now, if we look at this site here, this kind of gives us a little bit of inclination as to what the cryptography is doing. They pick a really large random number and they put it into a program that generates the keys. It generates a public and a private key. And so those math equations are similar enough to each other. Now, when a quantum computer that is good enough in the far future gets access to this, it could then backtrack from your public key here into the key generation program, understand how it generated it, and then go to your private key and then understand what that is to log into your account and take your assets. So obviously that's something that we don't want and we're very wary of. That's where quantum resistant crypto comes in. But what is that? What does that actually mean? This essentially is the designing of new types of cryptographic locks that even quantum computers can't easily break. Think about if today's lock is a padlock made of steel, quantum resistant locks are made of some super alloy that's resistant to new tools. Some of the main methods being developed are lattice-based cryptography. Basically, this is a 3-dimensional maze with walls so complicated that even if you could see the whole thing, finding the path out is computationally enormous, or basically very difficult. And 3D maze in comparison to like if you're looking at one of those mazes on a piece of paper and it's like kind of hard to go through, and even the human brain is very powerful compared to our current computers these days. Imagine a 3D maze that you're that one little point instead of being able to see it from the outside. It would take forever. Now, the next is hash-based cryptography. This is like growing a huge stack of puzzle pieces and only knowing the order if you have the entire stack. It's like you build this puzzle and this puzzle and this puzzle and this puzzle all at the same time. The next is code-based cryptography. This is like a scrambled message where only specifically unscrambling works. And then if you unscramble the wrong way, it's ridiculously unlikely to even approach it in the right way. So these aren't perfect yet. They might be slower than current options. They might be bigger file size wise, essentially, than more options right now, meaning, essentially they would take a lot more computing power. But obviously they trade off the cost of safety in the future where quantum computers that can break all this current stuff exist. And obviously it is a threat. If we go to the Department of Homeland Security security website, they have a page called Preparing for Post-Quantum Cryptography infographic. And if we can open up this infographic as well, basically they're also trying to plan for this future. Everybody seems to be going off the same kind of timeline when it comes to, you know, this future being about 2030. So obviously this is a big, scary thing, and I don't want you to worry so much. Let's talk about what is actually being set in place and what is being worked on right now. Let's look at the National Institute of Standards and Technology. They have finalized some post-quantum encryption standards designed to resist quantum attacks. That's already a big step in the right direction. As you can see right here, they have also published some status reports and timelines with, you know, what algorithms are under review, when standards will go into effect. This one, for example, the 4th round status report from March of 2025 shows a timeline of all of the big milestones. As you can see here, this is the timeline here with all sorts of things on it of what have been done. Things like standardization, things like submitting presentations. They placed this in front of a public comment board. They placed it in the public eye for public comments and concern. They called for feedback. They had announcements of basically other people that were helping on this, and they had a standardization conference, and so on and so forth, down to finalizing some actual standards. And now if we look back at Cisco, obviously this is a great thing because companies and agencies are using guides and infographics to plan how to transition their existing systems to quantum safe ones as well. So basically you can see that the walls are being built right now. Now obviously you might be asking yourself, if you're in crypto, is this something that you should worry about? Is my crypto wallet going to be broken into next week by quantum computers? The answer is it's very, very unlikely. Quantum computers are currently not powerful enough to break modern cryptography. Their hardware is still primitive compared to what we would need for that to happen. As I mentioned, there's a video that goes deeper into that side of things, so I definitely recommend you check that out. That's on the channel already, so go take a look. Now there's a risk, I didn't mention this in that video, but it's called harvest now, decrypt later. Someone could steal encrypted data now, they could store it, and then they could wait until quantum computers get good enough. Then they'll decrypt it, and basically this means sensitive data stored today could still be at risk in the future. Now with this report I showed you earlier, they're basically talking about how long it takes to test, approve, and roll out quantum safe algorithms. So if that's something you're concerned about, if there's some way that, you know, there's data or something that is encrypted that you don't want getting out after these quantum computers come out, that's something that you're going to want to keep in mind. Now your crypto specifically is not going to be on that list, most likely because they are going to encounter all of their transition periods to where your crypto will be moved before any of this, and so all of your crypto that, you know, was on the old system is not going to be there anymore, and it'll be on the new system. So with all of this boiled down, let's talk about what you can do to stay safe. Clearly you're someone interested in crypto, maybe just investing, maybe just keeping your stuff safe. In general, you should use secure wallets. Use a hardware wallet. Devices that store your private keys physically, they're much safer than your online wallets or even your centralized exchanges. Again, I have more videos of this kind of topic. This is really important. Hardware wallets are fantastic, so check out the channel and those videos that I made. Number 2 is to keep your software and tools updated. When blockchains or crypto projects announce PQC upgrades, basically apply them if possible. And lastly, diversify. Don't put everything into one coin or one wallet. Make sure to spread out your assets and your risk. And I think kind of with that, I know I said that was the last point, but with that, you got to stay informed. Follow trustworthy sources, especially about quantum safe cryptography, and find out when new standards become available and pay attention. So keep your things up to date and keep yourself up to date with all of this. I know there are risks out there, but obviously the quantum computer problem is far, far away. So if you want to get involved in crypto, if you're ready to get your first set of coins, I will leave links to Coinbase and crypto.com in the description where you get at least $50 in free crypto just for signing up with those links. And if you want to get into meme coins, I'll leave a link to MoonShot where you'll get to claim some free meme coins just for signing up. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like so that the YouTube algorithm sends it to somebody else. And if you want to stay tuned for all things crypto, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching. I will catch you in the next one.